All right, welcome back to Beyond Mortgage. I'm your host, Dan Trinidad, and I am very excited about the guest I have today, Matt Johnson. Matt's the guy responsible for actually creating a podcast for me. He's the guy that's been educating me on how to go about this, and hopefully over this last year I've gotten a little bit better. But he's my coach. He's the producer of the show, and I'm really excited to have him on. Welcome, Matt.
What's up, Dan? It's great to be here as always. And yes, getting better every single day as we all are. And yeah, the podcast just keeps getting better, get really good guests, and hopefully just, just for me to speak directly to your audience, guys, I really appreciate everyone that shares the show, that you share it with other loan officers, you share it with other people in your office. You guys leave in reviews, which we read every one of those. And I just wanted to say that, from the team that produces it, like, we don't take any of that lightly. I know from hosting my own shows like Real Estate Uncensored and Micro Famous and stuff, like, every host reads every single one of their comments and every single one of their ratings. So if you think it doesn't go unnoticed, it does go. Like, we do see everyone, and we really appreciate it.
Boy, you got a great radio voice too.
It's my good microphone.
So Matt, I think what I'd like to discuss today is I want to share with people, what one of our top loan officers, who happens to be my wife, Katie Trinidad, what she's up to and how she got to this point, really in an effort to share for other loan officers what can happen if you're on your journey being a loan officer. Katie's only been a loan officer for about 5 years, and she got in the business really because she wanted to make a difference in the experience that a customer had. So what she enjoyed really was just making the process smooth and building relationships with the customer. And with that came strong reviews to real estate agents who then wanted to align with her. And she worked over the course of 3 or 4 years just serving the customer while building a database. Well, now she's the beneficiary of rates dropping because the majority of the people she's done loans for over the last 4 or 5 years are all now contacting her to obtain a new mortgage. So she's gonna be 40 plus, maybe close to 50 loans this month, and it's certainly a record for any loan officers at Partners Mortgage over 31 years. But yeah, it's certainly keeping her busy.
All right, I have so many questions, as I'm sure everyone listening does. So I'm going to try to be the voice of the audience here and ask what I think people are in the listening audience are probably going to want to know. So the first thing I want to know is with the rates dropping, and you mentioned the refis. Do you know offhand kind of what's the mix of refi versus purchase out of those 40 plus?
Yeah. It's about 70% refinance and 30% purchase,
Got it.
plus or minus.
Okay. And so you say she's a beneficiary of kind of that movement. So it's creating extra demand right now. And we were talking about this before we hit record, that kind of now is the time to make hay while the sun shines. But it sounds like she had a really good base. She's been in the business, she's got a database and stuff like that, which I want to ask about in a second. But what was about what her base was coming into this year, for example? What was her average number of deals per month?
Somewhere between 10 and 15
Yeah.
coming into the year. Her goal was to do 180 transactions in 2020, and that's 15 a month. So I think she wanted to get on the upper end of her average.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, she's very blessed to have aligned with some high performing real estate agents who share the vision of a great customer experience, and together they've wowed customers and built their business by referral only.
Yeah, that's extremely impressive. Yeah, because not having to go out, not having to do a lot of co-marketing agreements and spend a lot on online leads, which is what, I mean, frankly, a lot of people are teaching, and it does work. But I think a lot of people would love to work by referral only, or 90% referral. So when you say that she got in because she wanted to create this better experience, I think that resonates with probably a lot of people that want to do that. But we all have good intentions. We don't always necessarily follow through. And so I'm curious, what do you think is the difference between those moments where other LOs might do something differently, or just let something slip by where Katie is making that extra effort or has a different system in place. What do you think are those small differences that actually do result in that little extra edge that makes for a really smooth customer experience?
Well, it's certainly something I've taught over the years that really I can't get anybody to trust and believe, but Katie naturally cared about the customer experience. She got more joy out of putting a first-time home buyer into a home than the paycheck. She was
Mm,
never motivated by making more money, while most loan officers are motivated to make money and know that if they give good customer service, that will help grow their business.
hmm,
What Katie's done is just naturally her enjoyment is to build a relationship with that customer, get to really know them, make it a great experience, along with her real estate agent partners, and she kind of did it naturally, and landed a top performing realtor right when she got in the business. That
mhm,
realtor was brand new, and
mm,
she had the same goals that Katie had, and they've grown together. And they're both big on social media, and the social media aspect of it drew more realtors to want to do business with her.
mm,
And um, for the most part, over the last 4 or 5 years, she's done primarily purchase business. And with that being said, her database grew substantially. And now, when you drip on them uh, via email or make occasional calls to them, and many times you don't even have to reach out to them; they're reaching out to her. Um, they're all calling, and there's only so
mm,
much you could do. So her team's getting a little bit bigger. She's got to continue to build her capacity.
mhm.
um, so I
Yeah.
hope that answers your question.
Yeah, there's a lot to unpack there. So I want to go back to the realtor relationships, because that one key relationship, connecting with someone new in the business, and then that person ends up being really successful and growing. Um, that is a really hard thing to kind of predict.
For sure.
If you connect with somebody for the first time, like, everybody has, again, good intentions, everybody's ambitious, and then we'll see how it shakes out in the end. Um, so beyond that relationship, once she started to get traction, and you mentioned that social media started to draw other agents, was there anything that you feel like Katie just does a particularly good job at on social media that attracts those types of the right people to her?
I just think the being genuine,
Yeah.
not really bragging, but sharing the experience, and with the intention of helping people. I think that has been, her main goal. And we've got other loan officers on the team that have done things similarly. Um, I mean, the key is building strong relationships and really taking care of them. And by doing that, your business will grow. I think
Yeah.
if you're in it transactionally, you'll do well in times like these, and you'll really struggle
Hmm.
in the other markets.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, a rising tide lifts all boats, and then what happens when the tide goes out? That's
Right,
the real
exactly.
the real question there. So in terms of so we've talked a little bit about the customer experience, and a lot of that comes from her personality. But I think you can also, I mean, to anyone that's listening to this, going, yeah, but I am that person. Like, I'm the one that's economically motivated. Like, that it doesn't apply to me. If I'm listening to this and I'm in the audience going, okay, well, I am that person that's economically motivated. I tend to, like, I recognize the value of putting the customer experience first, but I'm not naturally a super warm, inviting, bouncy, positive person. Like, I'm matter of fact, I'm straightforward. I will say this: I know guys like that in the business, especially in the real estate business. And I'll give you a concrete example. Lars Hedenberg, who runs a seven-figure real estate team on the East Coast, right? He's one of my clients. And he shifted his entire business from being primarily heavily yard sign and buyer lead based to a good chunk referral based. And it all came from focusing on the customer experience, not because he's a warm, fuzzy person who wants to attend all of his clients' housewarming parties, right? It's not a personality thing. He did it from the perspective of, let's systematically create a step by step amazing customer experience that's implemented by my team, and the team delivers that experience, and then that delivers referrals, right? So you can, like, if you're listening and you're not that person that you feel like you're warm and fuzzy and you want to hang out with your clients all the time, you can do the exact same thing. You just look at it as building a system, and you deliver those points of experience, and you can have the same effect basically on your
Absolutely.
business.
That for sure is the majority of people out there. We've got another loan officer in our office that isn't the warm fuzzy. People love him, but he doesn't get his joy socializing with people. He just makes
Yeah,
himself available 24/7. He's hungry to serve and getting paid very well to do it.
yeah, love it.
Um,
Yeah. Yeah. So there's things there where you can say, okay, well, part of that's personality, but just about anything that you can chalk up to personality can be systematized and built into other businesses. You just have to be kind of creative about it. If you're not the person that naturally gives gifts, assign it to an assistant. You know, like I have staff that one of their jobs is to reach out to me every day. They look at the appointments that I had the previous day on my calendar, and they say, okay, for uh, Joe Smith, what's the thank you card you want us to send? And I send them back a voice message that tells them, okay, here's the message I want you to put in the thank you card for Joe. They go into a system that sends the thank you cards. They type the text in. It looks like it's handwritten, and they just automatically gets it mailed. So every day I have thank you notes going out in my business, not because I'm super thoughtful, right?
right,
Because
right,
I'm forgetful. I'll walk
right,
away from a call and go, man, that was really awesome. I can't wait to talk to them again, and then never talk to them again,
right.
right? So I have that system built in.